Today I'm going to tell you a story of Prince Siddhartha. This is from a poem, Siddhartha and the Swan by Sir Edwin Arnold, which I read long back. The poem is: one fine day, a beautiful morning, Prince Siddhartha is roaming around in his garden, a big, beautiful, exotic garden, when suddenly in front of him he could see a bird, a swan, bleeding with excruciating pain, crying. And why? Because there's an arrow pierced into his wings and he can't fly, he's going to die. Prince Siddhartha feels that pain, though he's not introduced to that pain before. He realizes that this is something called pain. He picks him up, heals his wound, and then immediately realizes in a metaphorical way that this is the purpose of his life, to heal, to bring peace. And this was the transcendental moment in the transition of Prince Siddhartha into subliminal Lord Gautam Buddha. The reason I'm telling you, my friends, is I'm going to tell you a similar story of a boy born into a family on 7th of March 1952 in a country called Antigua and Barbuda, in a capital city of Saint Kitts. This is again a transcendental movement when at the age of 5 this young boy had a bat in his hand. It was the same way as I said about that bleeding bird, the transcendental movement, that he realized the purpose of his life, and his purpose of his life is to play cricket. And not just play cricket, but make this world heal, give peace. The only difference between the subliminal Buddha and the man I'm talking about is Gautam Buddha brought peace and harmony in this world. This young boy brought destruction. I'll tell you why. Because he went on to become Sir Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards. Today I'm going to speak about Sir Vivian Richards, whom we fondly call Viv Richards, the great Viv Richards. I am Samir Kasnis from Sri T.B. Badia College of Science, Kandivali West, and today I'm going to complete this poem, The Song of the Open Road by Walt Whitman, and I'm going to speak about the 4th stanza. But before that, let me tell you one urban legend about this boy who went on to become Sir Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards. From a small country of Antigua, which you can actually run through entire country in a single day, Saint Kitts, the capital, which is around 70,000 population, he was coming from a very disciplined family because his father was a superintendent into a prison nearby his place. He and his brother Mervyn and Donald were used to play cricket, and it was in this process this young lad realized that his purpose is to dominate the world cricket. Playing cricket, he realized that he can do something for his own community, for West Indies. And let us talk about how he made himself. There's a wonderful story which goes on. When he was playing for Leeward Islands, people realized that this guy got a great potential. It's an urban legend that the vice chairman of Somerset, Len Creed, once went to St. Kitts, Antigua, with his family. And one day, after going all across in Antigua, I'll tell you, Antigua is one country which got 365 beaches. As we have 365 days, they have 365 beaches, and with those 365 beaches, they have 365 hotels. So each day you can go to one beach and one restaurant, and that's how you can spend your life. And so Len Creed went to various hotels and beaches, and at a point of time he realized that now it's enough. He should do something. But obviously a vice chairman of Somerset, what the something else he'll do? He wanted to see a game of cricket. He got into a taxi and he told his cab driver, take me to any place where a cricket is being played. The taxi driver, named Willie said, there are 2 matches going on right now. Which one I should take you? Len Creed said, I don't know anything about this particular island and the game of cricket in here. So you take any place which you feel we should come and see. Willie realized that he should take to the ground where this young lad, Sir Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards, was playing. And so Len Creed saw the game. He made him to play for Lansdowne Cricket Club in Bath, which is previous to playing for Somerset. He went there and he played for Lansdowne Cricket Club. This young lad of West Indies, Sir Vivian Richards, while playing, wanted to earn money because he comes from a very middle class family like me and you all. And so he's worked as a groundsman, assistant groundsman, getting £1 daily. And that's how he started his game of cricket. Vivian Richards, Sir Vivian Richards, an Indian connection is very strong, because at the age of 21 when he was selected to play for West Indies, obviously it was the India tour of 1975 when he came to India. The first match at Bangalore, Bhagwat Chandrasekhar foxed him out twice on a very low score. The great view realized that I have to make myself, I have to mold myself, I have to change myself according to the situation. That is what greatness is all about. And the next match at Delhi, Firoz Shah Kotla ground, he made 192 not out, unbeaten 192 with 20 boundaries and 6 huge sixes. That makes what Vivian Richards is known about. And that was the way he proclaimed himself that I am here. And that is what world started to realize, witness the prolific game of Vivian Richards. This started the era of West Indian cricket, and especially the era of dominance of great Vivian Richards. Came to India, as I said, was unable to perform in the first match, but he realized that I have to improvise, and very immediately he adapted himself and made 192 from then on. There was unstoppable Vivian Richards throughout. Went on for the 1975 World Cup with the greats of Rohan Kanai. Obviously, he wanted to play, he wanted to perform, wanted to win the cup. But in the finals against Australia, he was unable to do that. But then that's the greatness of Vivian Richards, Sir Vivian Richards. Unable to perform as a bat, he did that same into fielding. One of the greatest fielders we have come across, especially in slip. But during World Cup 1975 finals, Vivian Richards made 3 runouts. And mind you, these 3 runouts consist of 2 Chappell brothers. So these are very crucial runouts. And West Indies won 1975 World Cup. In the next season, when West Indies was about to visit England, the famous Tony Greig statement that we'll make them grovel made Vivian Richards, but obviously the entire West Indian team, but the great Vivian Richards flared up. And what he did with the English bowlers, we know, that was a complete domination, that was a complete destruction. In one summer, he made 1,710 runs in one summer with 11 centuries, average of 90. Vivian Richards made for Somerset, English county, 2,170 odd runs. This is the potential of him. In 1979, the World Cup, West Indies were down and out in the finals against England. Again, Lords, 79. Almost 90 around runs with 5 wickets down. Colin Kings and Vivian Richards, Sir Vivian Richards. 138 not out. There is no other words I can say. Magnificent 138. I'll tell you for all my friends, and especially for 12th standard students, because I'm connecting this with Song of the Open Road from 12th standard. There was this last ball of Mike Hendrick, the last ball of the over. World Cup finals, the great Vivian Richards. Mike Hendrick running across with around 85 miles, 90 miles per hour. Vivian Richards preconceived the ball, made the stance before even the ball was bowled, went out and lofted the ball across mid-wicket for a great 6. I suppose that video you can see, and you should see, because that shows the greatness of Vivian Richards. I suppose nowadays you find in IPL and so many other formats of game, batsmen preconceived the ball, but it all started from Vivian Richards. Let me tell you one more thing. Before Vivian Richards, the test match cricket was minimum 3 runs in an over. A batsman will just play and make singles and doubles, and rarely would be a 4 and a 6, which is a rare sight. But after the emergence of Vivian Richards, the game changed, and I suppose that makes him one of the extraordinary players who changed the game. There are so many players who come, play, make records and go. But the one like Sir Vivian Richards, they come, they dominate, they destroy the opponents, and they change the game. This is what Sir Vivian Richards did. When bowlers were dominant forces in the world cricket, it was Vivian Richards. There are various stories in West Indies, which I heard it when I was watching videos about his brother Mervyn, who is a prolific speaker, and actually even Sir Vivian Richards even today speaks about him, that he was more talented in game of cricket, but then because Mervyn was more happy-go-lucky, and so Vivian was more focused. His school teachers from Antigua Grammar School, they even today speak about Vivian Richards, a very focused and a shy kid. And that shows how focused he was, because of his focus, because of his determination, he went on to dominate the world cricket. And after this, he was unstoppable throughout the world cricket. When the world cricket was dominated by fast bowlers like Jeff Thompson, Dennis Lillee, one of the greatest fast bowlers, Richard Headley, Imran Khan, Sarfaraz Nawaz in Pakistan. In India, we had Kapil Dev. But somebody was asking me like, oh, great, but then he never played against the great Michael Holding, Andy Roberts, Malcolm Marshall, Joel Garner. No, my friends, he was used to play them against each other in the local tournaments, and he was used to play the same way, the way he was used to play against Dennis Lillee, Jeff Thompson, Len Pascoe and so others. There is one match at Melbourne, 153 not out. I suppose that 153, that shows his potential, because the way he played against the great of Jeff Thompson, Dennis Lillee and Len Pascoe. There is a story that Len Pascoe, gave him a bouncer which went through Viv Richards. He went close by and had a lip with him. And what happened next was Vivian Richards was hitting the ball all across the ground to Len Pascoe. And then Lenny realized that we should never lip the great like Vivian Richards. Even there was a stories that the captains would come and speak the bowlers that you should never sledge, never speak, never abuse Vivian Richards, because if you do so, it is you who will be getting the retaliation, and he did that. There's a story which I'll tell you about Greg Thomas, one of the English county bowlers. He bowled him. The ball was pitching, was a very good speed, moving around Vivian Richards. Greg Thomas went close by and said, Viv, this is red cherry, round, 5 ounces. The next ball, great Vivian Richards hitting beyond the ground, again Greg Thomas went past when Viv said, Greg, you know it is round, red cherry and 5 ounces, now go and find it out. This is what Vivian Richards is all about. There is one more story about Piggy Malone when he was playing for English County. Piggy was bowling good, and Mike Nicholas told the story, and he was bowling really good. He had some lip with Vivian Richards. He spoke something harsh to Vivian Richards. Great Vivian Richards thrashed him all across, and the greatness never ends up here. After the match was over, great Vivian Richards walking in the opponent's dressing room, calling Peggy Malone, giving a shake hand and saying, man, give respect to opponents. I suppose we have to learn that. He was a man who would even respect the opponents. He never came out with the arrogance. People speak about the swagger, which was actually something new by the time when Vivian Richards was playing. Every day now you speak about swagger, it was great Vivian Richards who conceived that way. But he never did that intentionally. It was his way of life. It was the way he would approach game of cricket. When he would walk on the ground, there was a swagger. There was a charisma with that Rastafarian band with those 3 colors, that golden bracelet in his hand, that broad shoulders, and Viv would approach. Across the ground, all spectators, all the opponents, including the world over, will be all glued to their television set to watch the great man. And I suppose that is the way he approached cricket. Vivian Richards, if you see records, 56 balls, a century, 189 prolific inning. There are so many. 6,000 plus runs in one day with around 90 strike rate with 42 average, around 8,500 runs in test match cricket, more than around 26 odd centuries. But records obviously speak about the greatness, but it is not only the records what we should look into. See what Vivian Richards did. What he did, according to me, with my limited knowledge, what I have observed him, is that he went beyond the realm of cricket. He represented the true spirit of West Indies, the true spirit of his community. To tell you one of the greatest stories which are known as urban legend, by the time of apartheid, South African people wanted to see the game of cricket. So they conceived the idea to invite players from the world cricket and have their own matches. And so many players, I am not against that, many players from West Indies, so like Lawrence Rowe, the great Calichurin, and so many other players, Colin Croft, they went there. We never thought of going that because according to him it was a blood money. There's a story. The South African government, the cricketing body approached Vivian Richards and they said, you come and play. Vivian said no. They offered him a blank check. My friends, this is of 1970s when money was very hard in cricket. Vivian Richards was offered a blank check. He denied that. I suppose why? If you ask me the question why, because money obviously people want. Nobody in this world will say no, I don't want. It is all because he thought I am representing my own country, my own people. And if I do that, it's no way going to stand for him. There is one more story about Ian Botham. We know about the friendship between Ian Botham and Vivian Richards, which started from Somerset. Ian Botham was approached to come and play for South Africa. You know what Ian Botham said? No, I will not come. They said, why you don't want to come? Because you are a fair-skinned guy, you should come and play. He said, no, if I come, I won't be able to look into the eyes of Vivian Richards and speak to him. And so even great Botham never did that. That is what the friendship between them. This, I suppose, speaks about lot many things. Color, skin, caste, creed is all those trifle things which are of no use for humanity. What it stands is the actually true spirit, what Vivian Richards and Ian Botham stands for. I'm going to tell you one more story here about Vivian Richards. The story I read from a prolific reporter and a writer called Dwarkanath Zanskaris. Dwarkanath Zanskaris is a Marathi writer, a prolific writer who started writing from newspapers, and Shatkar was the one which actually I got inspired by about West Indian cricket, because Dwarkanath Zanskaris sir writes a lot about West Indian cricket. Recently, while reading his book, he spoke about one incident which happened in Lahore. It was West Indies versus Pakistan, and Vivian Richards was batting. It was Imran Khan who was supposed to bowl the first ball to him, and he was on the mark. Javed Miandad came running over to him and said to Imran Khan, bowl him the bouncer, he'll get scared off. You know Pathans and how they speak, and the great Imran. He said, you want me to bowl him, great view, a bouncer, you know what he'll do? He'll throw the ball out of the ground and then people will laugh at me. So you don't speak all these things, go back and stand. I suppose that speaks a lot about it. Opponents having a special strategy for batsmen, though, but obviously Don Bradman and Harold Larwood, we know a special strategy. But after Don Bradman, I suppose it was Vivian Richards for whom batsmen, bowlers would have a different strategy to bowl. In fact, most of the times they will have no strategy what I should bowl to him, because there is a statement of so many bowlers that whatever you bowl, he'll hit him. He'll hit all around the ground. Now, a lot of people I come across, you come across, that they carry attitude, because lot many times we speak about Vivian Richards' attitude. Let me clarify that. Actually, that attitude, what common people carry, sometimes you call them, sometimes you message them, they don't reply, they don't call back. When you come across them, you say hello, and they just turn around and go off. I suppose that attitude is a mindset that look at me. Great people like Vivian Richards, they never do that, because when they go and they play, they perform, their performance is so dominant, so aspiring, that itself it comes out as an attitude. Whereas Sir Vivian Richards is most humble person. Let me tell you a story which was recently I came across from when I was watching a video of his brother Mervyn, who is a great speaker. He said that he wanted to come to India, again a connection of India. He wanted to come to India, and so there was some formality of form filling and stuff. So Mervyn bought him all those visa forms and he was filling up. So the address was obviously now the street, the direct street where he was used to stay. Now it is Sir Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards Street. But in address he penned down Derek Street. And when Mervyn went through, he said, Viv, this is the wrong address. Your address is Sir Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards Street. Why you feel? He said, no, for me it is the same old Derek Street. No need of writing it by my own name. People may take it in different way. I suppose that speaks about the greatness of Vivian Richards. Transcending beyond the cricketing ground. There are a lot of stories about Vivian Richards. You know, just look at this. Sandeep Patil, one of the studio Vivian Richards of Indian cricket, he hit Bob Willis 6 boundaries in 6 balls in World Cup. By the evening, he's in the lobby of a restaurant. Sir Vivian walks in and offers congratulations to him and offers a glass of beer just because he played a good inning. I'll tell you one thing which is said by the great Sachin Tendulkar. When he was feeling down, he thought I should retire. It was Vivian Richards, Sir Vivian Richards. He called him up when he came to know about Sachin is thinking about, pondering about retirement, and spoke to him around 45 minutes. And he gave his words, which I suppose obviously is words of Vivian Richards are nothing but motivation, what it stands by. And so Sachin realized that no, it is still some cricket left in him. As I said about Sachin Tendulkar, there was one incident when he was feeling down. He thought the game of cricket is done, he is finished, and he thought of retirement, and he was pondering about that. In that scenario, there was a call from Sir Vivian Richards, and he spoke to him around 45 minutes. Why 45 minutes? Because these people, 45 minutes means a big thing. And he spoke. There is no way I can tell you what he spoke about, but I can tell you what was it. It was all motivation. And Sachin went through that phase where he was motivated, and he went on to play because he said, you have a lot of cricket still in you. This is what Sir Vivian Richards is. There is one more thing. If you see the Wisden cricket, they have made the greatest 5 players. The survey was done among 200 players to name the best of the 5 of the greatest players among Don Bradman, Jack Hobbs, W.G. Grace, Shane Warne and Vivian Richards, one of them. A recent survey of June 2020 by BBC about the greatest overseas player to play English county, but obviously it was Vivian Richards. If you see the dream team test match, one day you'll always find Vivian Richards there. There is no way. I'll tell you one more incident. While the survey was of the greatest player, obviously in that survey Ian Botham was also there, and Shane Warne was also there, but obviously other players as well. So Shane Warne and Ian Botham, instead of voting for their own self, which they should have done, they voted for Vivian Richards. I suppose that is how his charisma goes off with. A story about Madan Lal Sahab, Madan Lal Paji, a bowler from India who actually came into limelight in 1983 when that famous shot of Vivian Richards, that mini 32, that catch of Kapil Paji is all said and done, and we spoke about that great times. You won't believe it, Madan Lal Sahab says that I was there in Indian cricket. I played nationals, I played for country. I was a popular in India, but not abroad in that sense. But it was taking the wicket of Vivian Richards made him popular. I suppose that speaks about his potential. Even if you take a wicket of Vivian Richards, that could be a prize possession. So this is about West Indies, and this is about the great Vivian Richards. I thought I should connect it with one more thing, because I belong to that era when we not just went to admire Sir Vivian Richards, but personally speaking, I took him as a divine, and which he is. And this part of the world, we celebrate Guru Purnima, which is a way in Indian tradition where we express our gratitude to our mentors, the one who actually give us inspiration, give us hope and strength to survive in this world. And I suppose I had so many of such mentors, but undoubtedly one of the prima donnas I have come across is Sir Vivian Richards, Sir Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards. Undoubtedly one of the greatest person to play this cricket, and who went beyond to represent his country. When I was reading it, I realized that West Indies is one island similar like India, a colony of British, but they never had people like the great men like Subhash Chandra Bose and Mahatma Gandhi or any of those freedom fighters. Why not? Because it is a country which is known by some players, and Vivian Richards one of them. He is the one, according to me. It's a hypothetical statement. If Napoleon Bonaparte would have played cricket, he would have played cricket like Vivian Richards. And what Imran Khan Sahab said, even if Vivian Richards had played anything else, he would have dominated the game. I'll tell you one thing last before I quit for the day. He is the one person who played test match cricket as well football because he was very good in football, and he played the qualifying rounds of World Cup. Again, as I said, this is Guru Purnima. So from me, Samir Khasnis, I express my sincere gratitude to this great man for inspiring me and millions of people. Long live Vivian Richards, the great Vivian Richards. He is there to bless us always. We admire you, sir. That's the only thing what I can say. So it is here I end up my episode with the fourth and concluding stanza of Song of the Open Road on this wonderful ground of Sri T.P. Bhatia College of Science. Me, Samir Khasnis. Still here I carry my old delicious burden. I carry them, men and women. I carry them with me wherever I go. I swear it is impossible for me to get rid of them. I am filled with them, and I will feel them in return. This is the fourth and concluding stanza, which is distinct from the rest of the poem. And why? As it is the afterthought. The speaker admits that he carries the memories, old delicious one, which I suppose is the paradox, of the people he came across in life. He cannot get rid of them. Instead, he tries to return the favor by feeling those people with fond memories too. Delicious burden. How could you carry a burden and still feel delicious? Actually, what the poet wants to say here, and how I connect it with Vivian Richards, is it is the burden of the past which Great View carried all across his life. A burden of slavery, exploitation and hunger. It is in this approach he carried his roots, his past, and the collective struggle of each and every man and woman whom he represented. Vivian Richards, a man who could always be remembered all across his life because of what work he did is what he is and what he and where he belongs to. Vivian Richards, he never backed down from his responsibilities, his moral values and his ethics. What we must learn from this great man and admire him was the way he is deep-rooted with our own culture, our own country, our own community, our own self, our own soil, his ethics, and above all, the great canvas of humanity as whole. What makes him distinct, different, extraordinary and superior is, like the hammer wielding god of high lightning, thunder, storm and strength, Thor, from the Marvel superhero, he, Great View, carried his bat against the fearsome fast bowling with no helmet across his career of 20 plus years of cricket. This is no exaggeration, no overconfidence. It was the spirit, his capacity as a batsman, his belief in his own self and his complete faith. As a little boy with that bat, he started a journey of a mortal being and transcended himself into immortality through the various cricketing grounds of cricket and beyond. A young boy, over the period of time, went on to become a supreme soul with immortality through this wonderful game of cricket and beyond. Though he saw exploitation, slavery and everything, but what he gave in favor is those wonderful memories. And I suppose Great View is known for all these things. This is the end of the video, but a new beginning. I want all youngsters especially to look in the life of Vivian Richards and get inspired by